Hi Josh, we're back with some more Minecraft today. This episode, we are focusing on our sugarcane farm. But before we actually get to the sugarcane farm itself, there's another project. It's a pre-project project. It's a project to help us accomplish another project. Let's just go do a project. So I realized if I wanted to build a sugarcane farm based on a flying machine design, I was going to need either a lot of slime blocks or a lot of honey blocks. And I picked up a couple of bee nests while I was squid hunting. So I dug out a little room back here, lit it up like the middle of the day, and gave us some grass. And I'm going to build a honey farm. I've got some dispensers, I've got some campfires, I've got the bee nests. Now, as these bees are hitting up flowers, I can breed them with more flowers and build more and more bee hives. I think, yeah, these are bee nests. They're the naturally occurring ones. So I can build bee hives and I can fill this place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a campfire here in the floor. You need one air block, and then I'll place the bee nest here. Or I'll probably dig down a little further. I'll place the campfire 2 blocks down, place the bee nest here. I'm not really sure how we're going to do this, but I will figure out a height appropriate design for the bee nests, and I will place a dispenser behind each bee nest with shears in it for honeycomb or bottles in it for honey. And I'm going to put hopper minecarts below each campfire. That way when the stuff drops, hopefully it'll drop into where the fire is and the hopper minecart will pick it up. And then I'll have a dispenser below each minecart to pull the either honey bottles or the honeycomb out and bring it to a central storage system that I think I'm going to put right in here. And we will build up so much honey that we will have honey blocks for days. I decided not to overcomplicate this honey farm. I'm going to go with a tried and true method of collection, hopper minecart, spinning under the field. I used the same unloader system that I used for the melon and pumpkin farm, and everything is working great. The hopper minecart is sitting on top of this hopper right now behind this block, and this thing will just do its job forever. And wherever the dispenser throws the honeycomb or the honey bottles, it'll get picked up. Farm is basically ready to go. I'm going to put either a hive or nest in each of these alcoves, and I'm just going to be able to tile this along. And the observers will read whenever there's an update to the status of the honey, and it will output a signal that goes back to the dispenser. Right now, I have one set up with shears and one set up with bottles. Oh, the joys of actually having a witch farm so I didn't have to make all that glass myself. Now, you notice back here, I offset this by 1 block so that I could keep these disconnected from each other. That way when an observer reads one of the hives, it doesn't update everything around it. Let me close this back up real quick. And I've got the fires down here to keep the bees calm. I've got the dispensers all loaded up. I lifted the roof up an extra block so that I could put dirt here and put flowers up there so that the floor doesn't have to get quite as crowded with flowers. And the reason I did this is because I want to basically free range these bees. I've seen a lot of designs that have them completely enclosed in like 1 block where they can pop out, get honey, pop back in, but I love walking in and having the bees wandering around. And these are on blocks where there was grass earlier, which means that there's still, I don't think you can see through, but there's still rail under there. So even if the honeycomb or the honey bottles fall right here, it'll still get picked up by that minecart that's going around down below. It's not the prettiest design in the world, but I love the idea of the bees just kind of flying around doing their own thing. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to pop that there and that there. And I'm pretty... Okay, well, it popped out an empty bottle, I'm guessing because it updated when I placed the nest and then again when it got emptied by the bottle. That's fine. We have more than enough bottles to go around. And shears will never get used unless they're actually, I mean, they won't lose durability unless they're actually used. I'm pretty sure at least one of these had a bee. I don't know what time of day it is, so it might be too late for them to be out. Oh, gotta remember to use the airlock system. I don't want the bees escaping. That explains it. Yep, it's nighttime. Okay. All right, let's see how many bees we have. Looks like at least 3. They don't always all come out at the same time. So there's a chance that we might have more. Let's see if you guys want to make a baby bee for me. You certainly do. Awesome. Okay, well, we're on our way. I mean, all it is now is continually breeding and then using, I think, honeycomb to make more hives, and we can just keep expanding this. And honestly, this is kind of a small area. I could absolutely make this longer if I wanted to. We could extend it that way. We could... Yep, an empty bottle just got spit out. But that's perfectly okay. I will set up a sorting system so that empty bottles get routed back in, I think. I don't know if I want to automate it to that extent, but I will make sure that there is a sorting system so that whatever storage system we set up out here has all the honeycomb in one chest stack and all the honey bottles in another chest stack, kind of like the witch farm. And, I mean, maybe I will automate it so that the empty bottles come back around and get put back in there, although with the redstone here like this, that might be a challenge. So maybe not. Maybe I'll just have the empty bottles go into a different chest stack, and then I can come back in here and manually, or I can go behind and manually restock them, because I'm going to have to restock shears occasionally anyway. And it looks like everything is working. So I've got the unloader feeding into a dropper over here with the same clock as I showed off over at the witch farm for the sugarcane. It's going to spit out all of the empty bottles, the honey bottles, and the honeycomb. They're going to go up that water stream right there, right here to this little sorting system. And it's just a little guy, but we've got it set up for honeycomb, honey bottles, and empty bottles. And I don't think I've gathered enough of any of them yet to... That's extra from before I had the sorting system installed. I don't think I've gathered enough of anything. No, I haven't. But I'm getting close. So, pretty soon, these will start filling up, and we can always dig this down and make it as expandable as we want. Just fill it vertically just by putting more chests and more hoppers in there. But this is the same. This is an easier view of this now that there's much less of it than over at the witch farm. So this is how the sorting system works. A comparator reads this hopper, feeds the redstone. There's a repeater here to feed power to this block where the torch is, and that will lock this hopper once things start flowing down. At least that's how I understand it. But this is basically infinitely tileable horizontally. So as far as I can tell, you only need a break every 8 blocks to put in a piece of packed ice to keep the water stream flowing. Or you can do the whole thing with hoppers, and then you never need water, and then you can just expand it forever. So I'm pretty sure this honey farm is done. I mean, we've only got the 4 bees in here, but I bet you guys are ready to breed. Love hearts? Yeah! Make me another baby. And the way that I'll know that it's time to make more nests is when I come in here at night and there's still bees fluttering around who haven't gone home, because each hive or nest can only fit, I think, 3 bees. So I'm pretty sure I only had 3 to start with, so this will be bee number 5, but we'll know for sure at night. And I'll start making more hives, the craftable ones, and just expanding this system. And I think I'll just do another wall of them over here and maybe call it good there. I might put 1 or 2 in the back wall if I can fit them there. I don't think I'll put any in the front wall because I will run out of room. Yeah, I don't want to stress the limits. But we don't need a ton of honey. I just want enough of these to make honey blocks so that I can make flying machines for various purposes, like the sugarcane farm. Go figure, my very first honey block would go to the wandering trader. Well, this is what the place looks like now that we've got all the hives in. We are fully set up as an automated honey farm. We're getting a ton of honey bottles and honeycomb. There's a lot. And I even picked some up myself while I was in there. I am keeping the bottles in all of these dispensers. Are they yeah, they're dispensers. I can never figure this shit out. It drives me nuts. Anyway, I'm keeping them fully stocked with the gains from the witch farm. And I think I know of a way to redesign this honey farm if I want to, so that I could completely automate delivering bottles over there, and it would clean up the inside a lot, and we'd be able to tile way more beehives in there. But I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. I don't know if we really need that much honey. We probably don't, and we probably never will, but I might do it just to clean it up and just to have it constantly productive. And once we get the mass storage system designed, we won't need to worry about storage space running out. So that's something to think about for the future. Now that the honey farm is fully set up and very productive. Shut up. Was that pistons? Jesus. I'm talking to Josh! It's time to get over to the witch farm so that we can gather some sugarcane. Excuse me, sir. Those are not your llamas. Where are your llamas? I am concerned. You also have way less trades than normal. Why? What are you hiding? I don't trust you. I was just standing in the melon pumpkin honey collection area, reviewing video clips so that I could get the next video ready to upload. And I hear an explosion, and when I come to investigate, there's a fucking wandering trader just standing right over here by this acacia tree, and his llamas are spitting nonstop into this puddle of water, which used to be at least partially covered up, and this crater didn't used to be here, and this hole in my fucking tower wasn't here before. I think the wandering trader llamas set off a creeper, so I killed him. This is not good. A creeper or two were out. I don't know how, but they were out and they were just wandering. And I saw one up here in the water track. Oh, fuck. And I tried to run out the door to fly away and get him to despawn, but one exploded before... Son of a fuck. Well, I'm going to clean this up, and then we're going to get started on that sugarcane farm down there. As you can see through this little hole, I've already done a little bit of work trying to figure things out. But I'll get to that after I clean this up. Okay. Except for this little plot of grass and the missing chests, I got everything all cleaned up. I just have to go grab some chests and some sandstone slabs. I'm pretty sure I have all those supplies downstairs, and I have to relight the portal. But everything else seems to be fine. I checked all the redstone. I checked all the glass. There's no spilling water. Thank God. I've had enough of that in this place. But I don't know how those fucking creepers spawned. I also walked around with the F3 screen loaded and checked all of the blocks to make sure that there were no dark spots. And I threw down extra torch spam just to be safe. But let's go check out... Hey, I made it! Okay. Let's check out the beginnings of the sugarcane farm. So, this is what it's going to look like when I get each layer completed, and it'll just stack up. I haven't counted, but I can probably fit 3 to 4 layers in here. So, bottom layer, just stone. I'm not bothering with slabs or anything. It's not going to be seen. I don't care if it's ugly. I just need something to lay the rail on. On top of that, rail. I still have to place all the redstone blocks and the powered rails to keep the hopper minecart going, but it can run in perpetuity. Just like the melon and pumpkin farm, I've built an unloading station right here, and you can see right there in that glass, this is the lift tube for all of the drops from the mobs. When they fall down and die, they fall down on that hopper right there, which spits into that dropper, not dispenser. I keep making this mistake. It spits into that dropper, and I have a clock set up that spits all the items out, and it goes up there into our storage system. Now I have the same thing for this unloader station. Below us is a clock that spits out this dispenser, and it's, I think, 1 block higher in the water stream. It doesn't matter, but it just happened to work out at the right height. So that'll spit out and go up there. Now I'm going to do that for each layer. Each layer will have its own clock and dropper. I'm not trying to funnel everything into one dropper. Above the track, dirt, I will use lower half slabs, waterlogged, to keep all of our sugarcane hydrated. And it'll look almost like a grid pattern with 1 sugarcane, 1 water, 1 sugarcane, 1 sugarcane, 1 water, 1 sugarcane, something like that. I'll show you once I get that all planned out. I can see it in my head, but I'm not going to be able to describe it very well. That'll grow 3 tall. In the middle of that, on the second block, is our flying machine. I used honey instead of slime because I don't have a lot of slime, but we do have a lot of honey now. So, let me see if I can get over here. Yeah, all right. Simple flying machine. It uses 2 observers. When a sticky piston pushes the row of honey here, which there's a honey block under the observer, and then these 3. When that gets pushed, because the observer moved, it reads a block state change. Moving, I guess. It's reading air next to it. This is the face. It reads on this face. And even though it's still an air block, it's a different air block. I guess it conveniently works. So it reads a state change and sends power, which I believe this is a product of quasi-connectivity. It's not directly connected to this piston, but it's diagonal to it. So, I don't know, Minecraft redstone is fucky. What do you want from me? I'm just going to take advantage of it. But when it powers this piston, because it read the air block, this piston will reach out and grab the slime block that's right here behind it, and all the, not slime block, honey block. It'll grab the honey block behind it, under this observer, and all the honey blocks connected to it, and it'll pull them forward. And then this observer will do the same thing. It'll read an air block change, and quasi-connectivity powers this piston, which pushes, and the cycle repeats. This one pulls. So when it gets over to the other side, that observer will read that something has touched it. It'll be this observer, and it'll power some redstone that's behind it, comes around, hits that repeater, and I tried this with a block of obsidian, thinking just use an immovable block, put redstone on top of it, good to go. No dice. The flying machine just stopped on that side. So I don't know what it is about a hopper, but apparently if you put a hopper down and then put redstone on top of it right there, that is sufficient to, when the redstone line powers, to cause a state change that this observer reads and then powers that piston, which pushes off from that side and then powers this piston and pulls, and it returns. So the way that works is that when the sugarcane that is planted right here grows 3 blocks tall, when it goes from 2 to 3, this observer will read that 3rd block growth as a block state change, power this redstone line, come around here, hit this hopper, and send the flying machine off. And it'll bust all the sugarcane that's grown on this layer of the farm, and when it comes back, it'll rest and wait for this sugarcane to grow 3 blocks tall again. Meantime, all the sugarcane laying on the ground will get picked up by the hopper minecart, which, yeah, made it, which unloads here. Clock uses, the redstone clock activates that dropper. It spits out all the sugarcane, up it goes, and into the exact same sorting system that we already have for all the mob drops. So I tried to plot this out a little bit. We can't lay ground right on top of this because of the redstone. So this will be the track base layer for our next layer of the farm cake that we're making. There's the rail, and then above the rail will be the grass, and then 3 blocks of height for the next sugarcane, and then the observer, and then there's a dot of redstone on top of that. And then I can just repeat all the way up. We're going to line this whole thing with leaves because slime and honey don't stick to leaves. Leaves are basically immovable blocks, and we'll just do this over and over, all the way up. So that's it. I'm going to finish this layer, and I'm going to get all of the water in place and all of the sugarcane planted, and then I will sit here with the recording going and just stare at sugarcane for an hour until it activates, and then I'll take that, I'll cut that bit of the clip, and I'll show you how the whole thing works. I swear I once had a sugar farm that was much cleaner and covered 100% of everything as long as I kept tiling it, but for the life of me I can't figure out what I've done. It's not pretty, but by my count I'll be able to plant over 50 sugarcane per layer if I just do this ugly little checkerboard pattern. I am absolutely sure I can do this better if I just put my mind to it, but that creeper explosion just messed with my head, man. I don't know. Honestly, I don't give a shit. 50 sugarcane per layer means 100 if everything fully grows, which that's not going to happen basically ever, because this sugarcane stalk that goes under that observer is the one that's going to set off the whole system. So if it's a fast grower, it'll get whatever else is a fast grower. If it takes forever and it is the last one, then we'll get 100 sugarcane in one sweep. But it doesn't matter. Thanks to the nature of observers and the nature of sugarcane growing, these things will be ever vigilant. And whenever that sugarcane grows, we'll get a sweep, and it'll pick up however much it picks up. You know, I have a feeling I massively underestimated the height of this when I was standing down there looking up, telling you that we could get probably 3 or 4 layers. Because right now, I'm at eye level with the top of the second layer, and there is so much space left to go. So I can just keep going all the way to the top. And even if we only ever get 50 sugarcane per sweep, and even if it only goes off once every, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, that's more sugarcane than our 3 stacks of chests. That's only 12 double chests. They will fill up so fast. As long as we AFK here on a semi-frequent basis and keep the sugarcane and the witch goods coming in, we will never hurt for rockets again. And also, we will have an effectively endless supply of TNT. We just have to go out and gather the sand, which is not a problem. There are so many deserts in this world. I've already flown around and seen just hundreds and hundreds of acres of desert. I mean, we're surrounded by desert, so we've got plenty of TNT, and that suits my plan for Guardian clearing, because my plan for the Guardian Temple is to just go up in the air, drop a shit ton of sand, and then bomb it out. That's how I usually handle ocean temples. Anyway, I'm going to get all the water in place, get all the sugarcane planted. I'll give you a very brief update once that happens, and then I'm going to start on other layers. If I manage to fill this place up, I will absolutely show you. We get a pretty good view in this water column as we're going back up to the top. I can just walk in the gates down there and turn around and ride past it all. So I'll update you once all the water and sugarcane's in. As you can see, the cart is running on the bottom layer. All of the sugarcane and water has been placed, and I started with a stack, which means I planted 54 sugarcane in one layer. Now I'm just going to duplicate this all the way up, over and over again. So there will be 54 sugarcane, in theory, planted on each layer, with an identical flying machine, identical hedge maze looking border, and identical return mechanisms and collection situation. I'm sure I'm going to get real tired of doing the same thing over and over again after a while, especially because for this layer, I just needed to go down to the layer below where my cart is and grab my water. Right down here, I just placed a 2x2 of water so I could grab more. I am sure when I get 5 or 6 layers up and it's a lot harder to get my hands on buckets, I'm going to be real tired of this game. But we are good to go on this supply. I think it might be time to think up our next farm project. Hell yes! I'm going to call that a qualified success. Clearly there's a bunch of sugarcane up on top of the honey blocks, but I can solve that by just placing leaves, I guess, right there and right there, and they'll just fall off and they'll fall down to these bits right here on the ground. And it looks like the cart has already picked them all up. Well, that is excellent. Let's hop up top. The one problem with where I placed all the redstone is that it closes that upper gate when it finishes. But we have sugarcane flowing through the system and coming in. Hell yes. All right, I'm calling that a success. Great success. Oh, that's a good feeling. You know what? I don't even care about those because we're going to have more than we know what to do with soon. Layer 2 is ready to go. I just have to put in the rest of the water and plant the sugarcane, and we'll be ready to roll. I already have the flying machine built. I have the entire collection system up and running. I built the unloader. I don't know if you can see it there. I'm still bad at scaffolding. I have the unloading station here, and it's obviously not doing anything because I haven't collected anything. But I don't know how I managed in this tight an area. I mean, this is how I managed in such a tight area. I didn't think I was going to be able to build the dropper clock because downstairs I used a lot more room. So now I know that it's possible to be more efficient with my space. And that's very fortunate because it means I don't have to move this whole thing up 1 block per slice of the cake or per layer. That's great because I've already placed all the hoppers and droppers for every remaining layer. It's 12 layers in total, I think. Either 11 or 12 layers in total. So we're going to have a lot of sugarcane. Well over 500 sugarcane planted once we get every layer done. And this thing is pretty efficient. So we may have to figure out how to install an off switch. Apparently, I'm not the genius I thought I was. I don't know how this has happened, but I have to assume it has something to do with the work I've done since it was working. I can't figure out what part of this is broken. What have I done? I don't know. Oh God. I'm going to try to figure this out. I fixed the flying machine, but I don't think that I can put the dropper clock here. The redstone needs to run along here into a repeater that powers that block to make the dropper drop things. And something about redstone running past here in this, not in this space, but like right here. Something about having redstone there makes this start flashing and freaking out, and it just, this whole thing breaks the way you saw it broken. I don't know how to fix that. The only thing I can think is to move everything here, the observer and its circuitry and these bushes in 1 block, which is fine. We'll only lose 7 planted sugarcane per layer, and that's not terrible, but I'd really like to find a solution. Before I disassemble all this and start shrinking our playing field, I'm gonna puzzle on it some more and see if there's anything I can do. I think I actually managed to fix it. Holy shit, I'm so happy I managed to fix this. I puzzled on this for hours. I wasn't actively working on it the whole time, but I definitely I was mentally hurting for it. Anyway, I'm gonna put, let's just say, 1 piece of redstone in here. That pulses, and it pulses this just long enough to hit those repeaters through the block. But because it's not just a redstone line running across here, I think it's still, it doesn't affect the flying machine the same way. So I think we're good to go now. Now I just need to repeat this design in further future layers instead of the redstone dust design that I had used. Oh man, I'm so happy about this. Anyway, I'll update you when I have more layers done. And this is the result of an overnight AFK session with 1 layer of sugarcane farm. We only have 15 chests, so that's pretty excellent. Oh yeah, also I've got a bunch of stacks of glass bottles in here. So how serendipitous is this? This thing gives us glass bottles that we bring back to the honey farm that we use the honey to build the sugarcane farm. Alright, anyway, I just wanted to give you an after AFK update. Alright, that's going to have to be it for today. I would say, even with only one layer working, that sugarcane farm is very successful. And it fits right inside that monolith, so it's not just a bunch of wasted space. And I didn't waste hours of my life hunting squids, digging sand, digging gravel, making all that black concrete. I think that monolith is a massive success. Also, we now have a really sweet honey farm, so I'm pretty excited about all of those. We've got sticky blocks that we can make flying machines from. There are even more fun things that you can do with honey blocks. And we now have all the sugarcane we need to go with all that gunpowder that the witch farm is giving us to make endless rockets. Massive success. I will talk to you soon, brother. I miss you.